For these 6 television personalities, broadcasting wasn't just a job. It was their calling, their passion, and their connection to thousands of viewers who welcomed them into their homes daily. But during what should have been routine live television, something went horribly wrong. These are the stories of broadcasters who died on air, right in front of the audiences who trusted and loved them. It was August 26, 2015, and morning mist clung to Smith Mountain Lake's shores as the sun crept over Virginia's tranquil waters. The Bridgewater Plaza shopping center stirred quietly to life, store owners preparing for another peaceful day, unaware their lakeside community would soon become ground zero for national tragedy. Allison Parker adjusted her earpiece in the WDBJ TV news van, reviewing notes with the enthusiasm that had made her a viewer favorite in just 14 months at the Roanoke station. At 24, her infectious smile and natural presence promised a bright future in broadcast journalism. Her boyfriend, Chris Hurst, anchored the evening news at the same station, 2 young journalists building careers and dreams together. Adam Ward positioned his camera with the precision that made him WDBJ's most trusted photographer. At 27, 4 years of experience had earned him respect for technical expertise and compelling visuals under pressure. His fiancée, Melissa Ott, produced the morning show, their recent engagement celebrating love blooming in the newsroom. Adam's steady presence behind the lens made him Allison's preferred partner for important assignments. The morning interview featured Vicki Gardner, Executive Director of Smith Mountain Lake Regional Chamber of Commerce, discussing the area's 50th anniversary celebration. The live shot was scheduled for 6:45 a.m. during morning. Hosted by Kimberly McBroom and Leo Hirschkorn, Southwestern Virginia viewers had grown accustomed to starting days with WDBJ's trusted faces. Allison harbored anxiety about former colleague Vester Lee Flanagan, terminated 2 years earlier. Working under the name Bryce Williams, he'd filed EEOC complaints and made threatening statements about the station. Management had implemented security measures, but threats seemed to fade with time. As the live shot began, Allison's professionalism radiated through her characteristic warmth. Adam's flawless camera work captured the scenic lake backdrop and engaging conversation. Home viewers saw nothing unusual, just quality local journalism that had made WDBJ trusted for decades. At exactly 6:45:27 a.m. mid-interview, a figure approached from outside camera view. Flanagan had driven to the location, waiting for the perfect moment. Armed with a Glock 19, he positioned himself feet from the unsuspecting crew. The first shots rang out without warning, echoing across the quiet plaza as Allison screamed and tried to run. Adam's camera captured chaotic footage as he fled while clutching his equipment. The live feed showed terrifying glimpses before the camera crashed down, transmitting distorted concrete images. In the studio, Kimberly and Leo watched in horror as colleagues' screams filled the audio. The station cut to commercial immediately, but thousands had witnessed the attack in real time. Flanagan fired multiple close-range shots, striking both journalists before fleeing in his rental car. Vicki Gardner was wounded but survived. Emergency responders arrived within minutes, but both WDBJ employees were pronounced dead at the scene. The entire attack lasted under 30 seconds, its impact reverberating through journalism forever. The station struggled to continue broadcasting as news spread. Traumatized viewers flooded social media with shock and disbelief. The journalism community rallied around WDBJ, with stations nationwide paying tribute and discussing the unique dangers reporters face in the field. It was March 18, 2014, and pre-dawn darkness blanketed Phoenix as KPHO-TV prepared for another morning broadcast. The desert city stirred awake while inside the studio, the familiar rhythm of live television hummed through the corridors. Sarah Mitchell had arrived at 3:30 a.m., same as always. At 31, she'd become Phoenix's most trusted meteorologist over 6 years, beloved for her sunny personality that matched Arizona's endless blue skies. Her atmospheric science degree from ASU gave her the technical foundation, but viewers loved how she made complex weather patterns feel like friendly conversation. For a week, Sarah had battled persistent headaches and dizzy spells. Colleagues noticed her rubbing her temples during commercial breaks, downing cup after cup of coffee. The brutal morning schedule, up at 2:30 a.m., working until noon, had always been demanding but lately felt crushing. Her forecast that morning promised perfect spring weather. Sunny skies, 78 degrees, ideal for outdoor plans. She'd prepared her graphics the night before, showing the high-pressure system bringing Phoenix its famous reliable sunshine. The morning team felt like family. Anchor John Hook and Sarah had worked together 4 years, their easy chemistry becoming part of thousands of morning routines across the valley. Sarah delivered her 5 a.m. segment flawlessly, standing confidently before the green screen. Her bright smile masked the severe headache building since arrival. Studio lights seemed blindingly intense, forcing her to squint while pointing at weather maps. During commercial break after her 5:15 update, Sarah mentioned feeling lightheaded. John suggested sitting down, but she refused. Viewers depended on her 5:45 forecast. At 5:44 a.m., Sarah took her position for the final weather segment. The teleprompter displayed her script about beautiful conditions ahead. She began with characteristic enthusiasm, discussing perfect spring weather. Then everything changed. Sarah's speech began slurring mid-sentence. She paused, confusion washing over her face as she struggled with the teleprompter. Her left hand moved to her head while technical weather terms became jumbled, incomprehensible. The camera stayed focused as she swayed, professional composure cracking. John watched in growing alarm from the anchor desk. Sarah attempted continuing but suddenly collapsed behind the weather wall, disappearing from view. The sound echoed through studio microphones, shocking the control room. The camera lingered on the empty weather wall before cutting to commercial. Thousands had witnessed Sarah's collapse during their routine morning forecast. EMTs, coincidentally at the station for safety training, reached Sarah within 90 seconds. Despite immediate CPR and advanced life support, she was pronounced dead at 6:23 a.m. from a massive brain aneurysm. The morning show went dark as staff processed their colleagues' shocking loss. Viewers flooded phone lines with disbelief, many having watched Sarah's final moments unfold live on television. It was September 12, 2016, and afternoon sun streamed through Television City's skylights as Studio 33 buzzed with excitement before another $1 million Mind taping. The iconic game show set gleamed under bright lights, its familiar blue and gold creating an atmosphere of pure possibility. 200 guests filled tiered seating, energy crackling as they prepared to witness someone potentially win life-changing money. Robert Chen adjusted his tie nervously in the green room, reviewing notes one final time. At 45, the high school math teacher from Riverside had dreamed of this moment since watching as a teenager with his parents. His encyclopedic knowledge made him legendary at Roosevelt High School, where he'd taught 18 years. Colleagues joked Robert knew something about everything, the faculty's go-to guy for trivia nights and academic competitions. 3 years of applications, phone interviews, and auditions had led here. His wife, Linda, and twin 16-year-old daughters, Amy and Jessica, sat front row, wearing matching Team Chen t-shirts. They'd driven from Riverside that morning, barely containing excitement watching Robert's lifelong dream unfold. Robert's preparation had been methodical. He'd studied encyclopedias, memorized historical dates, practiced with online quiz games for months. His students helped create practice questions during lunch breaks, turning his classroom into an impromptu game show set. The principal granted him a personal day, and fellow teachers pooled money for the lucky tie he wore. Host Michael Sterling had been impressed by Robert's calm demeanor and quick thinking through earlier rounds. The teacher had methodically worked through increasingly difficult questions, using lifelines strategically. By reaching the final question, Robert had already won $500,000, more money than he ever imagined. The $1 million question appeared as dramatic music filled the studio. In 1969, which Apollo mission first successfully landed humans on the moon? Multiple choice options displayed. A. Apollo 10, B. Apollo 11, C. Apollo 12, D. Apollo 13. For a man who'd taught space exploration to countless students, this should have been cake. Robert smiled confidently, his mind immediately recalling countless lessons about the historic moon landing. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins, names as familiar as family. He'd used this exact question in classroom quizzes, knowing without doubt Apollo 11 was correct. As Robert opened his mouth to give his final answer, he suddenly pressed his right hand against his chest, face contorting in obvious pain. The studio audience watched confused as the confident teacher doubled over, breathing becoming labored. Michael Sterling initially thought nerves, the $1 million moment overwhelming even prepared contestants. "You all right, Robert?" Michael asked, stepping closer with genuine concern. Robert tried speaking but managed only a weak nod as sweat beaded his forehead despite air conditioning. Chest pain intensified rapidly, radiating down his left arm in classic heart attack fashion. Robert's legs gave out as he collapsed against the podium, sliding to the studio floor as his family screamed. The show's medical team rushed onto set as cameras kept rolling. Linda Chen pushed past security, reaching her husband's side as paramedics began emergency treatment on the game show stage. The audience watched in stunned silence as CPR was performed, where moments before a man had been on the verge of winning $1 million. Robert's daughters cried uncontrollably as medical personnel worked frantically, celebration replaced by desperate urgency. Despite 20 minutes of aggressive resuscitation, Robert Chen was pronounced dead at Cedars-Sinai at 4:47 p.m. from massive heart attack. The episode never aired, but 200 witnesses were forever changed by watching a man's final moments during what should have been his greatest triumph. It was November 7th, 2017, and Midtown Manhattan buzzed with energy around ABC Studios as pedestrians hurried past the glass building housing Morning Conversations with Diana Ross. The popular daytime talk show had built its reputation tackling social issues with supposed sensitivity. Jennifer Walsh sat in the green room, nervously adjusting her modest blue dress. At 38, the former marketing executive had agreed to discuss her journey through addiction and recovery. Her 8 months of sobriety represented the longest clean time she'd achieved in over a decade of prescription drug addiction that had cost her career, marriage, and nearly her life. 3 weeks earlier, Jennifer responded to a casting call seeking people willing to share recovery stories. Producers assured her the interview would focus on hope and redemption rather than addiction's darkest moments. Jennifer's recovery had been supported by her sister Michelle, who sat in the studio audience despite anxiety about public exposure. The women had rebuilt their relationship over the past year, with Michelle serving as Jennifer's primary support system during early sobriety's most challenging phases. Jennifer had spent 90 days at Serenity Springs Recovery Center in upstate New York, learning coping strategies. Her counselor had been hesitant about the television appearance, concerned that stress might trigger relapse during such a vulnerable recovery period. The interview began promisingly as Diana asked gentle questions about Jennifer's background and circumstances leading to addiction. Jennifer spoke eloquently about prescription painkillers prescribed after a car accident, describing how tolerance grew and life gradually spiraled out of control. Then Diana's questioning shifted toward sensational territory. Without warning, she produced a folder containing details about Jennifer's arrests, financial problems, and family conflicts not discussed during pre-interview preparation. Jennifer's face flushed with embarrassment as private details were revealed without consent. "Let's talk about the time you stole from your own mother's purse to buy drugs," Diana said, her tone becoming aggressive. "How does someone sink that low?" The question hit Jennifer like a physical blow, bringing back shame she'd worked so hard to overcome. Her breathing became rapid and shallow as studio lights seemed to grow oppressive. Jennifer tried maintaining composure, but Diana continued pressing for salacious details. "What about when you were found unconscious in that hotel room?" The host's questions became increasingly invasive, focusing on traumatic aspects rather than recovery. The studio audience shifted uncomfortably as Jennifer began showing obvious distress. Her hands trembled as she gripped her chair arms, voice becoming shaky. Michelle watched with growing alarm, recognizing signs of her sister's anxiety attacks. "I think we should focus on recovery's positive aspects," Jennifer managed to whisper, but Diana pressed on relentlessly, producing photographs from Jennifer's arrest records. Jennifer's breathing became increasingly labored as she felt trapped under studio lights. Familiar feelings of shame and worthlessness flooded back with overwhelming intensity. "Please, I need to stop," she whispered, but cameras continued rolling. Suddenly, Jennifer began hyperventilating, her chest rising and falling rapidly as panic consumed her. She stood from her chair, looking desperately toward the exit. "I can't breathe," she gasped, clutching her chest as her heart rate skyrocketed. The audience watched in horror as Jennifer collapsed back into her chair, face pale and eyes wide with terror. Michelle rushed toward the stage, but security blocked her path. Jennifer's body began convulsing as extreme stress triggered a cardiac event. Studio medics reached Jennifer within 60 seconds, but her condition deteriorated rapidly. Jennifer Walsh was pronounced dead at Mount Sinai Hospital at 2:47 p.m. from stress-induced cardiac arrest. The show faced immediate backlash from viewers and addiction specialists. Sponsors withdrew support within hours. It was June 3, 2013, and afternoon sun cast warm light through the Culinary Network's Chicago studios as familiar sounds of food preparation filled Studio B. The professional kitchen gleamed under television lights, creating the perfect backdrop for Cooking with Passion, one of the network's most popular live cooking shows. Chef Antonio Rossi reviewed his recipe cards as he arranged ingredients on the marble countertop that had become his signature workspace. At 52, the charismatic Italian chef had built a television empire around his passionate cooking style and authentic family recipes passed down through 4 generations. His thick accent and animated gestures had made him beloved among home cooks, and his cookbook, Nonna's Kitchen, had spent 18 weeks on bestseller lists. Today's featured recipe was osso buco alla Milanese, a traditional braised veal dish Antonio learned from his grandmother in Milan. He'd immigrated to Chicago 25 years earlier with nothing but culinary skills and unshakable belief in authentic Italian cuisine. His restaurant Rossi's had become a Chicago institution, but television brought his passion to millions nationwide. Antonio's wife Maria and teenage sons Marco and Giuseppe watched from the studio audience. They'd grown accustomed to their father's theatrical cooking style but never tired of watching him transform simple ingredients into masterpieces while sharing stories of their Italian heritage. Today featured a flambe demonstration, a technique Antonio had perfected in high-end restaurants. The dramatic flames and theatrical presentation had become his signature move, always generating excitement. As the live broadcast began, Antonio's enthusiasm was immediately evident. He welcomed viewers with characteristic warmth, beginning osso buco preparation with practiced precision, while sharing memories of cooking with his grandmother. The audience laughed at his animated descriptions of family dinner arguments and his grandmother's strict kitchen rules. The demonstration proceeded flawlessly through 45 minutes as Antonio braised veal shanks and prepared traditional gremolata garnish. His knife skills impressed as he minced garlic and chopped parsley with restaurant-quality precision. As the show neared conclusion, Antonio prepared for the flambe finale. He heated brandy while explaining the technique's science. "The alcohol must be perfect temperature," he said, eyes twinkling. "Too cool and nothing happens. Too hot and you lose control." Antonio's loose-fitting chef's coat, a trademark element, billowed as he moved around the set. The cotton fabric had been starched for crisp appearance under hot lights, making it more flammable than standard kitchen attire. As he reached across the stovetop to adjust pan position, his right sleeve passed directly over the open gas flame. The fabric ignited instantly, sending bright orange flame racing up Antonio's arm toward his shoulder. His initial reaction was patting flames with his left hand, but this only spread fire to his other sleeve. Panic set in as he realized the severity, his movements becoming erratic as he tried extinguishing growing flames, while millions watched in horror. In desperation, Antonio knocked over heated olive oil. The oil spilled across the stovetop and ignited immediately, creating a wall of flames blocking his path to the emergency shower. The sprinkler system activated within 30 seconds, but water pressure was insufficient to control the rapidly spreading grease fire. Crew members rushed on set with extinguishers, but Antonio had already suffered severe burns to his arms, chest, and face. Synthetic materials in his chef's hat had melted against his scalp, and he'd inhaled superheated air and toxic fumes. Antonio was transported to Chicago Memorial Hospital's burn unit, where he succumbed 72 hours later from complications related to severe burns covering 60% of his body and smoke inhalation damage. The show was immediately canceled, and the Culinary Network faced intense scrutiny over kitchen safety protocols. It was February 14, 2018, and pre-dawn darkness over Atlanta was giving way to sunrise as the city prepared for Valentine's Day. Inside WSB-TV studios, the familiar energy of morning show preparation filled the air as the team readied for Atlanta Morning, the city's highest-rated news program. Michael Thompson arrived at 3:45 a.m., his usual time for script review before the 5 a.m. newscast. At 48, he'd become Atlanta's most trusted morning voice over 12 years, known for his warm personality and genuine connection with viewers. His salt and pepper hair and kind eyes had made him a father figure to many, earning numerous community service awards. For 3 weeks, Michael had been experiencing crushing headaches, the worst of his life. The pain started behind his left eye and radiated across his forehead, sometimes accompanied by dizziness he blamed on television stress. His family doctor prescribed stronger medication, but the headaches kept worsening. Co-anchor Jennifer Martinez had worked alongside Michael for 8 years. Their on-air chemistry was legendary, making Atlanta morning feel like conversation between old friends. His wife Karen and 16-year-old daughter Emma watched every morning from home. Karen had grown concerned about the headaches and scheduled a neurologist appointment, but Michael insisted on maintaining his normal schedule. The Valentine's Day show featured romantic segments and live proposals. As 5 a.m. began, Michael's professionalism was evident as he welcomed viewers. He and Jennifer shared love stories and bantered about dinner plans, their easy rapport creating the comfortable atmosphere that made the show Atlanta's favorite morning routine. The first hour proceeded normally with news, weather, and Valentine's features. Michael interviewed a florist and participated in a cooking segment. His energy seemed typical, though Jennifer later recalled he was squinting more under studio lights. At 6:23 a.m., during a live interview with a couple celebrating their 50th anniversary, Michael suddenly stopped speaking mid-sentence. He'd been asking about their marriage secret when his words simply trailed off, leaving awkward silence. Jennifer thought he was pausing for effect, but his confused expression indicated something was wrong. Michael's left hand moved to his head as he struggled to form words, his articulate speech becoming slurred and incomprehensible. The elderly couple looked concerned as Michael swayed in his chair, his face turning pale and grayish. Jennifer tried covering, but it was clear something was terribly wrong. Without warning, Michael collapsed forward onto the news desk, his body going limp as he lost consciousness. The impact knocked over coffee cups and scattered papers, creating chaos broadcast live to hundreds of thousands of viewers. Jennifer screamed his name while signaling for help, her professional composure cracking. Studio cameras remained focused as emergency medical technicians, coincidentally at the station for training, reached Michael within 90 seconds. His breathing was irregular, pupils dilated and unresponsive, classic signs of massive stroke. Viewers watched in horror as CPR was performed where moments before Michael had been sharing Valentine's joy. The station cut to commercial after 3 minutes of live emergency coverage. Social media exploded with concern as viewers shared shock at witnessing their trusted anchor fighting for his life on television. Michael was transported to Emory University Hospital, where doctors confirmed a massive hemorrhagic stroke from a ruptured cerebral aneurysm. Despite aggressive treatment, Michael was pronounced dead at 11:34 a.m. from severe brain hemorrhaging. The show went off air for the week as WSB-TV grieved their beloved colleague. Viewers flooded social media with tributes, remembering how Michael had brightened their mornings and connected them to their community. Thanks for watching. Just when you think you've watched the most heartbreaking television tragedies, we're just getting started. Click the next video for the next stories that will show how quickly live broadcasts can turn into nightmares.